So Jules, tell us about when you had your near-death experience. You had an experience of the kind of like the fundamental formless forces behind life. Could you talk a bit about that?
I fell into this amazing cosmos, but I didn't fall into the cosmos, I was the cosmos. I fell into the cosmos as the cosmos. And there was this deep, deep black blue, it's just an amazing, loving feeling. This everything, this essence, this deep blue, all-knowing essence. And it was the most amazing, beautiful, caring, loving, blissful feeling. I felt like I was being carried. And then it began to move and polarize. I felt like this oneness was showing me why we're here. We're here so we can experience ourselves. We can't do that without polarization. We can't do that without movement. We can't do that by alienating our physical body. And so these polarizations, these movements, I knew them. Like they were familiar. And I knew, it's like knowing without knowing how I know. It's like this unique familiarity in each and every one of them. But it was just so beautiful. Everything balanced in its contrast. Everything balanced in its opposite. The opposite, the twoing, was necessary for the brilliance to be born. And I just see life differently. I see that there's that we all have our own unique journey. I told the physical people last night, because Seth went through this horrific things. He was taken from me.
So our son Seth.
Yeah, our son Seth. I didn't share, but he was abandoned at the hospital with bruises to his face and body by his biological father, who had already abandoned him once. And then we weren't told. And so we kept trying to call the house of the biological father, my daughter and I, and he would say that Seth doesn't want to talk to us. So when I found all this out, I had to go back to that place because I was really upset, and I was so, it was just so horrible. It was physically painful.
Yeah.
Physically painful, and Rudy had to hold me while I screamed. But I had to go back to that place that's inside each and every one of us. That knowing without knowing how you know. And when you feel the grittiness, this is your journey. You're never alone. You're never separate. Everything is happening in the hands of God, in the hands of the universe, because it's the universe doing it. And so this was Seth's journey. It was the journey that he needed to take, that we all need to take, because in the contrast, in the grittiness, it births this beautiful brilliance. It births compassion. It isn't a journey to seek the gold. In the journey itself, we're creating the gold. Don't ever forget that. And when you understand that it is all love, even the grittiness it's love, then you have compassion for yourself. And having the compassion for yourself, you can't help but bubble over to other people.
Yeah.
And you can understand them. They're just in a bad place. They're just hurting. And it's being expressed by like a forked tongue. But that is a message. That's wisdom. That's something telling you that there's something deeper inside of them.
When you say the word love, people can think kindness and selflessness and compassion, and that's definitely an aspect of love. But love's bigger than the words we can put on it. Because sometimes, and often, you need to say no. Sometimes you're not helping people by helping them. Sometimes you can be too loving without discretion and you can get walked on. Sometimes you need to shout at people. Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself or what you feel is right. Sometimes you need to end relationships or start new relationships, and there could be an awful lot of grit in the physical world around those decisions. Sometimes you need to starve yourself of addictions that you might be into, and you're going to experience suffering and pain and hardship while you do that. It's all love, but love doesn't look a certain way. Apart from our cultural perceptions of what we think love is. I thank the Lord that my previous wife fell in love with another man. I mean, thank goodness for that, because I'm with Jules and I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing now. At the time, it was extreme grit, but boy, did that birth something beautiful. So being humans, we don't know the mind of God. We don't know why things happen or how long there's going to be suffering, but I just know that suffering is an absolute normal and necessary and needed part of life. You're never going to end suffering. What you can do is understand the nature of consciousness, and then you don't suffer your own suffering so much. And it's more likely to birth wisdom and transformational change through that experience. So conscious isn't an esoteric spiritual thing, it's where the rubber meets the road.